the bottle cap challenge at long last. Of course, we can only do it in the most ancient, famous Buddhist temple in existence. Our journey from the Shaolin Temple brought us to a permaculture center, a small town completely self-sustaining called Da Mo Yu, which translates to ink rain. What an image. Though the name is beautiful, it may be outmatched by this unique town and its old, weathered, but sturdy structures evoke this feeling of stepping into a memory that you've never had. Maybe it's because it reminds me so much of Namche Bazaar from our Mount Everest trek, but the charm extends far beyond the imagery. All of the food there was taken directly from the garden of the family we stayed with. I've never experienced such flavor. And the people, like to Nepal, showed a rare kindness and hospitality. The slight imperfections and tilted buildings seemed like something out of an M.C. Escher drawing. As an artist, you look for lines, patterns, so many of both.
Hey guys.
Hello. 太说，你说的中文和他的一样好听。
不一样的，你的中文比我的好。
The villager we were staying with asked us if we wanted to hike to an orchard and pick some apples. Of course, we agreed. But first took a chance to train some martial arts in this beautiful setting. Maybe it was the water wheel, maybe it was the brutality of the training at the Shaolin Temple, or the mood of peace that engulfed this place. But something came over me. I took a rare slowness, gentleness, and silence in my movements. Movement to me really is just a memory, like a water wheel, scooping up those old feelings of something you've done 1,000 times, like completing your own archival healing, bandages sewn together from fond memories. Like the water wheel, taking from those currents that it's tasted before. Can we ever go back to how we felt when we did something for the first time? The water ends up back where it started, but is it ever the same? That first touch, I guess I'll always be chasing. Like my Everest trip, much of this one was also about reflection. And as always, what better place than nature?
So that whole crap he just planted himself and grew himself. It's all chemical and pesticide free. That's why you see sometimes little bugs in the apples and things.
But no deadly chemicals.
Yunnan is called Hongtuli. And I think it's the only province in China that has this iron-rich soil, which makes it red in color. Which is one reason why agate is so prominent here. Those like black ones, a little wrinkly. This is wild moor.
这是可以吃的，
You can just eat them. 可以直接吃吗？
没有，这要炒着吃哦。
So you could just boil them up and eat them.
Continually inspired by the simplicity of what life should be.
之前我是带他们去这个关渡古镇的韶平寺，然后去广东汕尾。
Being present and breathing.
This is a study abroad group. Dug all this up.
These are from you.
Yeah, from
Amazing. How's the wild apple there, son?
Delicious. Actually not so common in China. I mean, you could get them anywhere, but
Really?
it's like the way that like a dragon fruit is very expensive in the States.
Right. It's common.
An apple is expensive in China. And even though like apples are maybe the most common fruit in the States, it's quite special in that they're just growing here and that there are orchards everywhere adds to the sort of special nature.
Absolutely.
This little hidden oasis of a place.
Something so calming, so purifying about this place. Maybe because it seems untouched by so much of that which we really condense down into negativity in our world.
有他每天养喂鸡的时候，就有野兔，有猫头鹰什么的都过来吃。
This place stands alone, unfazed, untouched, pristine. One of my favorite parts of the trip was studying the Zhuangzi with Spencer.
Alright, so this is the Zhuangzi. This is the Burton Watson translation, which I think is the best one, best like academic one at least, that's in English. So this is chapter 3, The Secret of Caring for Life. Your life has a limit, but knowledge has none. If you use what is limited to pursue what has no limit, you will be in danger. If you understand this and still strive for knowledge, you will be in danger for certain. If you are content with the time and willing to follow along, then grief and joy have no way to enter in. In the old days, this was called being freed from the bonds of God. So the first part of this last sentence is scarcely intelligible, and there are numerous suggestions on how it should be interpreted or amended.
As you guys know from my other videos, I love this sort of thing. And I have to admit, this was my favorite part of the trip. Have you ever had one of those nights where you're just with friends, talking about life, reflecting, laughing till your cheeks hurt? There's nothing quite like it.
We are able to point to the piece of wood that's burning. 但是其上烧过的火. So, but on top of it, that which was burnt out, we contrarily don't know where it went. 它去到何方, like where it ended up getting to, like the next step for the fire. That's really neat.
It was time for us to head to the temple. As we climbed into the back of the cart, as usual, it was all laughter. Another quick training before we headed down. You got it, man. Do it for America. You'll see in my upcoming action film from the Shaolin Temple, those words inspired me and how I wrote that story.
Though the grease burns out of the torch, the fire passes on, and no one knows where it ends. So this one's called the Bishui Jingang, like the water Lokapala, like the Dharma guardian. And then over here, we have Danhui Jingang, like the red fire guardian. And they guard this temple, Chun. One of the most famous Buddhist temples in all of China. Maybe the most famous, not sure, but it just happens to be in this very rural area of Yunnan that we happen to be passing through. And some of the artifacts in here have been replicated into different famous museums around the world. A lot of them we won't be able to shoot because they're so precious and like they're national treasures that you're not allowed to take pictures of them. But there are these arahants in here, all these different statues of different enlightened people, like disciples of the Buddha, that were either they were made after real people or they were just very creatively made, but every single statue is hand carved and they look totally different from one another. That's pretty interesting. These are the 4 heavenly kings of the Dharma that protect the Dharma for the Buddha. And in every Chinese Buddhist temple and in most Buddhist temples you'll see these 4 kings, each wielding a different weapon that has a certain purpose. And then you have Maitreya Buddha over here, who is depicted often as a fat Buddha. Is actually replicated a Chinese Buddhist monk named Budai, who everyone thought was Maitreya, the future Buddha, come to save everyone. And so every depiction of Maitreya after Budai Pusa was around is actually a replication of this historical man. But he's at the beginning of every Buddhist monastery because he welcomes everyone. Beautiful.
What a somber place. The rain added a lot of atmosphere to that visit, I'll admit it. But like any sacred place, it reminded me of the Vatican and evokes a deep respect. And just like with the Sistine Chapel, the Chamber of the Arahants could not be filmed, which is better, because then it's a moment that only you can hold on to. The artwork was breathtaking. As we climbed to the top level and saw ancient artifacts encased in stone, it was finally time to complete the challenge which we set out to do. The Bottle Cap Challenge. It's a lot harder than you think it would be. It was actually quite easy for us to smash the bottle, but it took a higher level of control to find that finesse, to unscrew the cap with complete control. After some sloppy warm-ups, we got down to it. I feel this will be a lot more honest than all the other bottle cap challenges that you've seen. So as we began, we both smashed the bottle rather violently, which is what we're trained to do, hit the target. But in this case, we want it to look aesthetic and perfect and beautiful. So in the pursuit of perfection, we continued on. I did a little better, but still not satisfied. Spencer deftly unscrewed it. But not good enough. It has to be perfect. Oh, boy. Finally, I unscrewed it with some level of proficiency. But it still wasn't enough. So I did one more just for kicks. No pun intended. It's quite climactic. What an amazing place to do this challenge. Because of that, I'll never forget it. Have you guys done the bottle cap challenge? If so, tell me about your struggles in the chat. Did you get it your first try? Or did it take a few adjustments like us? The only other time we had away from the temple was a similar weekend in Kunming City. Spencer showed me the place where he himself had lived and studied for years. They're playing near Automata soundtrack in this bookstore. It wins Best Bookstore of China in the world. Where would you travel to China if you had a chance like this? And who would you take with you? I swear it looks like we're addicted to pull-ups in this video, but really, we had no way to train our upper bodies in the Shaolin Temple. So we took these chances to train as we could. The Green Lake lotus flowers were really breathtaking as well. Discovering rare places, charming settings, meeting new friends, and spending irreplaceable time with an old one. I'll be showing you a documentary of what it's like to live and train as a monk at the Shaolin Temple. I don't want you to miss that, so make sure you subscribe. And of course, go check out me winning the Wing Chun division. As I mentioned earlier, we have the movie on the way. I'll see you guys soon. Also, don't forget the Everest trek, one of my favorite videos. See you around town.